computer. And go. Banana on the floor, the poultry stone soup and much of the Boston seed is beef and mac. We'll just keep him there for a little while. He'll be off screen, and I don't think anyone can see me because the light is so. I'm blinded by the light via Manfred, the Manfred band. What do they call them again? Okay. Anyway, welcome to Stone Soup, our feature tonight of the Garage Poets. Give them a round of applause. She's a math club. And Jeffrey. What's that? Jeffrey. And Jeffrey. And you want to bring it back. This is a group that formed, like most of the online groups formed out of sheer desperation when the pandemic hit. It started as an open mic, then a group, or maybe it was the other way around, maybe it was both at once. But there are poets on the great open mic.
Open mic first.
What's that?
The open mic first.
Yes, I'm just doing all my instructions. People don't know it. The Garage Poets have an amazing open mic every Friday night at 8 o'clock. And it's highly recommended. I might even go with one of the writing prompts. There's some interesting writing prompts going on. I still owe the writing prompt group ducks have dicks. A few months ago.
Awesome.
And it's also not recorded, so all bets are off. You can say whatever you want. But it's a very fun atmosphere. And it's also a great group. I've seen these poets perform individually, but I have not seen them perform yet as a whole. I'm looking very forward to that. We do have the open mic first, and I think I'm going to start off with one of our online people. Why not? I might just pantomime him like a puppet. You've heard him in the background since he kind of got here to the gallery. His name is Bill Lewis. Bill, give us your best. I'll just do my Muppet impression as you'll pretend you're up here. Bill? And Bill is gone. Or he doesn't realize he's on mute. Or he's actually gone. Where is he? Where did he go? Bill, you gotta unmute yourself.
You muted me. You muted me. You ruined my introduction. I was showing you my chickens. You're all supposed to be jumping up and down for the chickens. Look at the happy chickens. They don't mind when you throw food at them. And here is our turtle. Can you see our turtle? She came visiting up the driveway. I have no idea why, but this is not a good place for her. She's going back to the creek in a little bit. But she wanted to come to Stone Soup, so I had to let her in. What else could I possibly do? What a beautiful world we have. Oh, I am so blessed to have you among the people that I know and to have the opportunities that we have in this lifetime. But today I am displeased with some of my friends who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, in my opinion. And so with fine regards to one of my heroes, Frederick Douglass, I will ask, what is Juneteenth to the homeless man? Does he rejoice with his brothers and sisters? Do the old high school chums invite him to parties? Does he feel respect for the sacrifices of his ancestors? Is this his day of celebration too? Are there performances at City Hall for him? When the teens dance and sing on stage, does he cheer? Or does he case the crowd looking for the marks? The kind-looking old lady, the young fellow with the Black Lives Matter sign? Does he fly with the Tuskegee Airmen in his dreams? When he watches Black Panther, does he yell, Wakanda forever? Is he inspired to be the best that he can be? Will he help others lead their lives better? When he listens to Frederick Douglass defending the Constitution, does his heart swell with pride? When we proclaim all men are created equal, does he concur? Is he truly equal to you and me? Do his old friends embrace him? Does his community accept him? Is he a person on this day? What is Juneteenth to the homeless man?
Thank you, Bill. Round of applause for Bill. And let's see. We now have, I'm just gonna guess that we have only, I think, three or four speakers on the online open mic. I'm gonna mix them up a little more, but I do want to have Jan Rowe come up because she was waiting the longest out of all of us. And she was the one who was our guinea pig as we were testing the sound system.
Is it working?
Yes, it's definitely working. Thank you, Jan.
I'm going to read something from the open mic that is Tuesday afternoons on the Cathedral of St. Paul's steps, down across from Brewer's Fountain. And I really empathize with people because I'm glad I have it in my journal because I can't find the weekly that I read it out of on the steps of the cathedral at the open mic. So I really have empathy with people that have decades and half century of writing. This is called a twist on Do You Know Who I Am? One of the last times people were spilling from this church onto the porch and steps was for Bishop Barbara Harris, a delayed memorial due to the COVID. Some were recounting stories. A woman from New York said they were listening to some gospel choir at a hotel and it was being drowned out by music from next door. So Barbara went over to have the volume lowered, and Trent Lott, who is a former federal senator from the South, he asked her, "Do you know who I am?" And Barbara responded, "Do you know who I am?" Recently, Cancun Ted Cruz of Texas used it, and I thankfully can't remember the context. Before H.W. Bush died, before that president needed a wheelchair himself, he was visiting a nursing home and knelt beside a resident who was in a wheelchair. And so H.W. Bush asked, "Do you know who I am?" The resident of the nursing home in the wheelchair responded, "No, but if you ask them at the desk, they'll tell you." Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jan. And now we're gonna go, we have one last person go up on the phone. We can't see her at all. She's ethereal to us, but if she presses *6, we'll be able to hear her. She's one of the ones who's joined us on the online open mic since it first started. Nancy Dodson, are you ready?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. Greedy Beak, the blue jay. Looking out the window, I saw a blue jay predator who stood over a petite field mouse, pushing it down, up, down, up, down, up, down, with its beak until the tiny mouse was dead. Then it took it in its beak and flew away. Greedy Beak had done its work for food that day. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Let's get some live people up here. Let's get some people who actually walk up here over this place. Let's bring up first the self-professed minister of thought crime, Mr. Ed Gall, aka Magister Gall. Bring him up. Give him a hand. Thank you very much.
minutes, we had talked to Nanny, said it goes up time, so maybe that's what I have a minute, for I could be going myself, any minutes. Anyway, the poem I had here was written a little before, it was written a while ago. But that was before Roe versus Wade was overturned, and I'm thinking that this is the time to read it now more than ever before. It's called The Things They Did. And one of the lines here kind of alludes to a gallery, much like the one we're in, pictures. And I was kind of thinking of the Ajinski Tower in the Holocaust Museum when I wrote it. But you wouldn't be wrong to think that the narrator of the poem is the narrator in this is speaking from a future time, the future historian looking our time, and the pictures in that gallery will be of us. The pictures in the Ajinski Tower are portraits of people, and they sit from a single town in Poland that were wiped out. And this is called, again, The Things They Did. We read about them today. They went to work and came home to their families. They went out to dinner, went to the movies, took walks. They wrote poetry, went camping, and had dreams about the lake and the way the moon's reflection looked in it. Sometimes they had their photos taken, their pictures line the walls of galleries today. They didn't know that then, though. They were taking their families on walks, tossing their children
Try
up
to see
in
if you
the air,
change the speaker setting on it.
and blew candles out on birthday cakes. They dreamed of their vacation on the beach of some foreign port. Many just stayed home and played in their yards. Some had picnics in the park where they enjoyed the sun on their face on such a nice day. Then the police came one night and took them all away.
Up next, let's welcome up Mr. Chris Fitzgerald. Turn off the YouTube, Chris.
I'll tell you that this classes and pros have been going through. This is a nice, easy, short one. Called Patterson Smadison. When we last met, we were in ancient Athens, poets with their fat mama jokes. I don't want to make out that everything was hunky-dory. When the poets went to bed at night, they thought the philosophers would see the error of their ways and kill themselves. So the next day, Athens would greet the world the way poets wanted them to, as if everything was brand spanking new. When the philosophers went to bed at night, they thought the poets would see their life was going nowhere, thus kill themselves. So when Athens awoke, they would see the world in the angle of the philosophers. Oh shit, I'm gonna die someday. Both sides were always surprised when they saw the other side still around. There was occasional fisticuffs Friday, Saturday night, sets of alcohol intake, but the redeeming grace, there was a polytheistic society. Poets, philosophers, everybody had 200 or more gods. So if someone criticized one of your gods, yo, poet, your goddess Higley Pigley has more pimples on her ass than Howard Johnson has ice cream flavors. You could just stand there and take it. You couldn't badmouth all your gods, too many of them. At some point, you remember the dishes soaked in the sink and go home and wash them. This is one of you I haven't done in a while, but everyone's heard this. We live in an entertainment culture. Watch me, dig me, watch me, dig me, watch me, dig me. A screen culture. The camera run amok. which had the greatest chokehold on the human spirit, hasn't been communism, capitalism, Zionism, Islamic fundamentalism. It's been the screen, television, cinema, computer, phone screens. And it's not the Russians, the Iranians, the Chinese, the FBI, the NSA, taking our privacy, you yourself, surrendering your life, NBC, T-Mobile, Microsoft, Paramount Pictures. Most creative person in the section of the world is produced. His name was Ralph Waldo Emerson. Once wrote, "Life consists of what a man thinks about all day." That screen's not your thought, not your friend. It's a corporate con. What good is sitting alone in your room watching a friggin' screen? Come listen to the poets or do something else, but get away from that lousy screen. Put down the clicker, the mouse, and the pad. It's time to engage your life. Life should be lived by you, my friend. Beginning, middle, and we tricked in a second. Someone's doing something more interesting on the screen than you on the screen life. Less screenless life. Corporate con, don't give in. They got a babe on one arm, machine gun on the other. Because it fills up their screen, we think they're doing something worthy of note. The basic thuggery. Exploiting the vulnerable, but we dress it up as if it's worthy of mention. We give the bastards awards as if they did something. Fraud and flatheads, flatheads and fraud. It all started when some nitwit said, "One picture's worth 1,000 words." Yeah, of course, it then read John Keats' love letter, a George Bernard Shaw preface, and Viva Sash from Boris Capone. Thank you.
And we have one online performer and one live performer left on the open mic before we get to the main event. So I'm going to unmute Carol Weston. And Carol, if you're ready, the rest of us are ready to hear you.
Okay. Sleep is a daily dip into death. I weigh 1,000 pounds. This storytelling burden in my bones won't let me rise. All day long, I breathe my perpetual song until I shape my lips and blow my invisible symphonic whistle. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks.
Oh, should have done that. Okay, so I think with that, we can, there's no more people who want to perform on the. So hopefully, there's no one wants to perform via the chat. So I think we're all set. Julian Power says she's just listening. Hi, Julian. So now we're going to go to, let's see if this works. I think this. Okay, symbolic. Anyway, let's.
That will come out of my speech.
Okay, so we'll take 90 seconds to figure that out afterwards. But for now, let us go to our penultimate closer, Mr. James Van Loy.
Shine, little glowworm, glimmer, glimmer. Shine, little glowworm, glimmer, glimmer. Lead us, lest too far we wander. What sweet voices, all things yonder. Shine, little glowworm, glimmer, glimmer. Hey there, don't get dimmer, dimmer. Let the happy low above and lead us on to love. Glow, little glowworm, wildfire, glow like an incandescent wire, glow for the female tail of the species. Turn on the AC and the DC. This night could use all this so brightness. Light up your little old fog on lightning. When you gotta glow, you got to glow. Glow, little glower, glow. Glow, little glower, glow and glimmer. Swim through the sea of night, sweet swimmer. Thou area not a cold glow, we will illuminate your work on evil. See how the shadows deep and darken. You and your girl should get to sparking. I got a gal that I love so. So blow, little blower, blow. Blow, little blower, turn the key up. You are with a like me. You got to the pocket monster, which you can make folks slow and fast. I don't know who you took the shine to, or who you're out to make the sign to. I got a gal that I love so. Blow, little blower, blow. Blow, little blower, blow. Blow, little blower, blow. It has been my great pleasure to be able to tell you that the bark lines are out along the Ponce River. They have been out in numbers that I have not seen for many years. And they are quite a sight to see. If you go on the second stop on the trolley from Ashmont Station, get off there and walk back up along the tracks. You will see them there about 9 o'clock at night.
And with that, we're gonna give Ethan, how many seconds do you need to set up, sir? Want to take a quick 3-minute break? Yes. 3-minute break, 3 to 5. I'll say 120 seconds because anyway, it's probably bring to 560 seconds because of poets' time. And then we'll reconvene for the Garage of Poets. Any idea why this mic?
It's unplugged. Got 2 inputs. I got like a sheet 4 channel board that I can use because it's a board 3 inputs.
Yeah, this will be one weird. This is one of the rare occasions.
And now that they have actually different speeds.
Mic wasn't plugged in. Science.
Thank you. You're gonna be back? Okay. I don't know if it's. You stand up. Go ahead, talk.
Jeff?
He's still.
Everybody's favorite part of the show. Everybody loves it. This is
Can
way
you turn
more.
your- that one?
Yeah. Try again.
1, 2, 1, 2. A little bit of
Yeah,
that
a little
one.
bit more.
A little bit.
A little bit more.
You sure?
I think that's good.
All right.
All right. That's the only thing I got. Oh, I got
Well, they're on break. This is our chapbook. We print a different set of these for every show. This time I think we've only got 4. tore out the door before I had to leave. They're so pretty, you guys. I did so much work. Give us money, please. Anyway, $5, come get us.
Yeah. And then we'll come up.
All right, are we all set to go share?
Yep.
All right, we are the Garage Poets.
Thank you. With the Garage Poets. As I said, we have a chat book, it's $5.
The short one is prayers, titled Bricks. Blessed is the apple in flight. Blessed is the rock that calls down machine gun fire. Blessed is the raised fist, the bullhorn, the stencil, and the paint. Blessed, oh, blessed is the man ablaze. What possible love could be greater than the love for the throwers of bricks, the ones who shattered glass and empires, those who tilt at windmills and death? So blessed, blessed are the bricks.
My cat says voting is a sucker's game. I bought him a collar on Etsy with the words, "I voted" embroidered on it, but I haven't made him wear it. As I hold it awkwardly close to his face, whispering about possibilities, he looks at me like I'm wasting my breath, not having believed in anything since being catfished by Taylor Swift. Every night for nearly a year, the pop star mimicked our neighbor's cat's ritual until T-Smith's love dance was revealed to me in the various rooms we popped into with a bet she made with Ariana Grande. It's been zero fucks and Sex Pistols ever since coming ass to mouth with the fact that rich people don't give a shit about any cat's feelings. My cat's name is Supervoter. He's vowed to never again be victimized by the niche pastimes of celebrities, no matter how catchy their songs are.
You there, with your internet connection, with your good health and dental insurance. Don't you know other people don't have access to those? Get rid of them. You can't help the underprivileged until you abandon everything the world has given you. Get miserable. You there, with your disposable income, with your Pokemon Go and your comic books, don't you know people are suffering out there? Stop having fun this instant. You can't address the ills in this world until you are as unhappy as the saddest human alive. Get miserable. mediocre job with your heart and lungs intact. Don't you know the cops are killing people? Stop getting by. You can't fight systemic oppression and injustice until you abandon all of your life support systems. Get miserable. You there, with your jewelry, with your plate full of fresh vegetables. Don't you know kids are starving in Africa? Stop eating. You can't call yourself an ally until you're homeless and starving on the streets. Get miserable.
I packed a bowl because the J-O-B is F-U-C-T. So hits with the bomb because the government. I've taken joint rides with my boss, and I've taken joint rides because of my boss. I stuck a piece of hash to the end of the safety pin because someone spread eggshells across the floor. I awaken concentrates. Morning glories are useless in that. I haven't tried my hand at cultivation because I'm involved since my 20s. I believe that the app connects my Bluetooth-enabled vape pen so the feds can't track my habits. I bought a smell-proof pouch because the NSA got a hold of this poem before I wrote it. I'll take 2 puffs with a peace pipe because I'm both an Autobot and a Decepticon. I'll roll up because I've worked hard to be good at what I do. Then pass to the left because I've been humping fences for too long to not already have hit the grass. I'll keep killing brain cells. And one of these days, I'm gonna catch the one I've been hunting.
How nice it would be to have just one thing to fight. Can you imagine it? Just one battlefront to worry about, everything settled and safe and sane and functional. Time to step back, return, refresh, continue chipping away at a single issue that needs fixing, and the belief that when the fight is done, there will be a difference. But no. We have Nazis in the streets and COVID in the air and liars and thieves from the corner office to the Oval Office. We have genocide in detention centers and apocalypse skies over the West Coast. A quarter of the country on fire and 5 tropical storms in the works. Black blood on the pavement and no justice, no speed, no peace. Scientists being silenced and rents being raised. Corporate landlord takeovers of people out of perfect danger, homelessness, starvation wages, and the nesting yacht rich. Crumbling bridges and no plan for power plants still burning our future for our phones. Mosques and synagogues under attack. Stand up, fight back. Gang-wrapped monks still insane trans rights. Pay teachers more. Police unions crying like bullies in the principal's office. And I'm running the call because the Arctic keeps popping methane out of the permafrost like a bad case of air. With our names on it, and the officers being trained by Nestle, and the temperature keeps getting hotter. And remember when we were worried that the kids would be too scared to speak up, but they're out there yelling anyway. And the feds are black-bagging protesters and gassing statues. Anarchists are trying to juggle feeding people with drying aggro, and the opportunists are writing Antifa rockets, and nothing is stable. Stop thinking. Sanity is always the first casualty of war. And if you don't think this is a war, you are not going to survive the first skirmish. We are all walking wounded. We are all putting on our oxygen masks. We are all putting one foot in front of the other. We are no good to the resistance dead. Start breathing. Feel the air in your lungs and the beating of your heart. Feel the strength of your rage and the depth of your sorrow. Feel the power of your voice, your heart, the fist of your fear. Learn to sublimate everything you believe, all of it. sheet of history at your back, your ancestors behind you, your descendants ahead, by blood or by culture, by origin or by choice. Your family stretches through the ages, calling for you, cheering you on. You're not alone in this.
I'm not campaigning to be president, but I'm building my library. I'm not the founder of a social network, but I'm wearing my hoodie. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I talk sitcom philosophies. I'm not a spy, but I'm chain smoking. I didn't go to flight school, but I'm a stoner. I didn't find God, but I married my best friend. I'm not a cult leader, but my children love me. I didn't consider myself an alcoholic, but I over celebrated every minor holiday. I didn't create change, but I'm listening to podcasts. I'm not the heavyweight world champion, but I beat myself up. I didn't make the All-American team, but I know how to play the game. I'd make a terrible waiter, but I'll bring what you ask for.
I got pepper sprayed, but I'm fine. They trapped me and beat me with their bikes, but I'm fine. I got hit in the leg with a rubber bullet, but I'm fine. My eye ruptured with a tire, tear gas canister in my head. I'm probably gonna lose it after surgery tomorrow, but I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. We keep saying it because we don't want you to worry, don't want to take up too much space, because we are breathing and we can't stop thinking about the ones who aren't. I'm fine, fine, but I'm fine. And how much more would have to happen? How much do we need beaten out of us? How many tears will we need to shed before we have no choice but to let out the banshee wail in our hearts? They are shooting at us. They are arresting us. They are knocking us to the ground. They are running cars through us. They are laughing as they fire. But I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
When my dad tells me my uncle is skipping the family reunion so he can travel to a Trump rally in Pennsylvania, I think about my mom uploading DNA samples and official records into the internet database to prove we descended from John Adams. It feels like we have been avoiding our family obligations. Not like we should have gone to more summer barbecues, but like we left work unfinished somewhere along the line. Now that our courts give more protection to preying on field after high school football games than they give to choice in women's health decisions, and our Congress members care more about getting likes from QAnon conspiracy theorists than they do about protecting school children from mass shooters. The significance of July 4th coming and going while we watch the January 6th hearings pulls its way through my intestines like I'm crammed shoulder to shoulder in the trunk of my family tree on a road trip to nowhere with every man I've ever been related to poorly attempting to hold it apart, laced with the odor of personal responsibility. I'm reminded of when Trump told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. The role, the choices my ancestors played in getting us here in the first place. Then I try to picture what would it be like to live in a world where doves and wolves bathe each other in truth. When my wife ran for city council, everyone wanted to know who's going to take care of the kids.
progressive makes it sound like things will always get better. Like there's nowhere to go but forward. Like forward is forever better, never in any danger of backsliding. Progressive makes it sound like we're winning, like we were always destined to win, like the ones who oppose us are stuck in mud. I was at coffee hour one morning talking about how I was gonna have to go yell at Nazis again, and someone asked, don't they have better things to do? Like this was a waste of time for them. Like what they were doing as a lark, like they needed a job or a hobby. I had to tell them that these people are not killing time and not in want of something to do. These people believe, not necessarily in the things they say or the people they vote for. They believe as strongly as we do that their cause is just, that victory is theirs for the taking, that history has its eyes on them, that this is a war and they have chosen a side. I know this because I too am a believer, and this tiny sliver, this shared fraction of a credo is the only common ground we share. I believe that the future is in danger, and the future is worth fighting for. And so do the people on the other side of the barricades. It's strange to have to explain this to people who appear to be engaged, to remind them over and over that their enemies exist and need confronting. And we lose over and over, shocked and dismayed when we did not fight and did not win.
When QAnon's local representative told me Edward Snowden's oligarch handlers revived the birds on real conspiracy as a way to mock the bald eagle, I replied I half expected news of a noticeable uptick in bird murders would arrive with my morning cereal, even though I haven't eaten a bowl since the third grade when I peeked back into my wings. Since the Capitol riots, it's easier to see connections in the glare of the winter sun that only exist after you've seen them. But as the ground warms around QAnon's followers, they are addicts without an organization to acclimate them. A bird bath on the moon, armed to the teeth with explosives.
So, if things were to collapse, really collapse, that post-apocalyptic shit, no supply chain shit, no emergency services, no law shit, you want to invest in a bicycle and some tire patch kids. If things go all the way around the bend, you're going to want to have a friend that can sew seeds as well as clothes. You're going to want a weaver and a baker with a solid sourdough starter, someone with a sweet voice for singing and a million stories to tell. The world goes straight to hell, and you don't know how to make a friend out of a foe. I just feel sorry for you, bro. The shit gets real old around the fire, eating expired cans of beans while your clothes rot off your back, seeing threats in every shadow, thinking everyone for miles wants to fight for what you cling to. Bags of gas lose all their bang before you need them.
Putting the word domestic in front of terrorists makes it sound like they are the Budweiser of mass shootings. Like even if they're wrong, at least they're trying. I wish they were domestic, like clean under the fridge. At least that would be useful. What if we said domesticated? Like take the Proud Boys to the dog park. Like we taught them how to do it. Or does domesticated sound too much like radicalized? Like pledging allegiance?
This letter is to inform you that the revolution is not in need of any martyrs at this time. We are all set on names for hashtags, on candlelit vigils, on impassioned pleas from mourning relatives, bloodshed on the streets. Already is quite enough for a lifetime of fighting. Thank you. We apologize for the inconvenience. Those among you who are feeling too sharply the weight of the world, who are carrying your own personal fights and disappointments, who've been quietly looking for a way to unburden yourself without abandoning your post, know that you are heard. Unfortunately, a death on the front line is no longer a valuable contribution to the cause. You will need to find your peace other ways. There is simply no need for another man on fire, another woman shot down in her prime, another body found under suspicious circumstances. There are no openings for dead heroes at this time. We are, in fact, overstaffed in that regard. You need to get your shit together. We need you fit for the fight. We need your boots on the ground and your voice on the megaphone. We need your labor, your time, your experience. Take a break if you have to. Seek out comfort where you can find it and comfort others as you are able. We need all of you alive. Again, the revolution is not in need of martyrs at this time. Thank you.
Thanks. You win the garage poets. Did we got one more each or how many more do you want?
Yeah, we're good.
One more. Does that sound good, Chad? We get that second one more each? The first brick refuses to buy a microwave. He says because of the radiation, but I know he owns a toaster oven factory. The second brick became internet famous for getting smashed over the head with a vanilla milkshake. He tried to sell me a bottle of ivermectin autographed by Joe Rogan, but I don't have anything in common with Candace Owens. The fourth brick has a family history of being the fourth brick. Her grandfather was originally intended as the Berlin Wall, but was accidentally redirected to the blood bank in Detroit. Brick 8 sits on the toilet retweeting Elon Musk. He claims to be advocating for free speech and decentralized banking, but I think he just likes smelling his own shit. The 16th brick got on a bus chartered to DC, but was left behind in Atlanta when he went out for a cigarette. I'm still trying to figure out how he wound up being thrown at a cop in Boston. Brick 32 is a paid informant. He took online swimming classes when the pandemic hit. He almost drowned because his connection sucked. I told him he needed to adapt his tinfoil hat to be compatible with the 5G signal. Brick 64 unwittingly befriended an alt-right troll while volunteering at a soup kitchen. I've only ever heard them talk about addiction. Brick 128 thinks he's doing it for different reasons than his separatist friends. I told him that's mental masturbation. Brick 256 wants to start a riot so widespread he has no choice but to start over just so he can say he only lives. He disappeared before I could respond. Brick 512 tried to overthrow the government, but nobody seemed to care or notice. Their numbers have been doubling this whole time we've been debating how much of a threat they really are.
Because we started our open mic during the pandemic, we have a tradition of making sure that the last poem of the evening, no matter what, was something uplifting, especially because people had a lot of heavy stuff to talk to them too. So in that spirit, this piece is called Keep Breathing. If it feels like people want a lot from you right now, they do. And if it feels like people are being short and snippy, they are. And if it seems like your body is revolting against you, it is. It is. We are all feeling it. It has been a year and then some, and we are not cut out for this shit. We have all been overclocked for too long, all been in crisis mode too long, all trying to do right by everyone for so long, and there is just not enough to go around like butter straight over too much bread. We are wearing thin, we are snapping at each other, we are failing to live up to our unrealistic expectations of ourselves. We are failing to show grace for the failures of others. It's real, it's really happening. You are not making things up. You are not too sensitive. You are not fabricating drama. We are living in interesting times. It's just hard to get through. If it feels like your best isn't enough, it isn't. None of us have enough to get through this. All of us are human in the face of overwhelming need and grief and stress. And learning to live with not being enough for the task at hand is hard in good times. Accepting that we will stumble and fall short and pivot and leave bruises in our wake and never get there because there's no there to get through. It's so human to want to curl up and disengage and get your hackles up and drag yourself away and beat yourself up and scream and cry. Oh, you are not alone in the troubles right now. It has been the kind of year they tell stories about, the kind of year that lives for generations, and you are still worthy of love and support and kindness and comfort, even without your missteps and iniquities and your scars and the ghosts in your heart. You belong here. You are born for this, and there's so much to bear, and you will bear it imperfectly, impatiently, importantly, in every glorious little detail of who you are and how you survive this. I am rooting for you. Keep breathing. Thank you again. We have been the Garage Poets. You can join us every Friday night. We do open mics. We sometimes do live shows like this one. I'm not sure what our next live show is. You can pay us money for a book. That's a thing. You can do that. Also, thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you.
30, 40 times.
Thank you.
$5 each. Well, have to give a little something extra because it's
All right, good job. Yay, Chad. Yay, human beings who are alive. Woohoo! Good job, y'all.
Thanks, James.
My chickens loved it. Bye-bye.
And with that, we let's do a wave. Can we do a wave? Thank you. I could use a wave after tonight. Oh, but wave, wave, wave. Okay, and stop. And next thing will be announced whenever. Hopefully this will go online. I don't know how much of a dumpster fire this looks like with the sunlight in the background, but there is some genuine video that was made by the Garage Poets, so that was good. So hopefully that will work out. So thank you guys very much, and have a good night. Your show's over. See you
Yeah.
next.
Thank you, Chad.
Yay.